guys. Happy Monday. We've had a lot of serious conversations the last couple of weeks. So this is still kind of serious because it leads into like the postpartum depression and anxiety and stuff, but mom guilt. I think mom guilt does not get talked about enough because we all feel it and we all kind of mom shame each other like on the down low, but then like we're not or we talk about mom shaming, but we don't ever actually do much to solve that problem. like what made me think of it is we got the formula shortage going on right now.
Oh yeah.
And so you got people talking, who was it? It was like the lady from Hocus Pocus, Bette Midler, made a really stupid tweet where she was like, I got a way to solve that, breastfeed. And I'm like, bitch, not everyone can breastfeed. Tried it, didn't work. One of my kids was like starving and lost a bunch of weight. So it doesn't work for everybody, you know?
Well, not only that, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I thought about it too. Like, but for the ones that have like a 6th and 7th and 8-month old before they get switched over to the milk, you can't just tell your body, hey, I don't need this milk, and then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? I need milk. I mean, I don't know.
Start trying to
like start trying to stimulate some breast milk and just put them on there and see what happens. I don't know.
I mean, I know some people have, but I don't know how many months were in between that. I know some people have like stopped and then started again, but I don't know what the like if there's a cutoff point.
I mean, I guess my brain didn't say, oh, hey, just breastfeed your kid. My brain was like, man, for the ones that are breastfeeding, I mean, great, because they don't have to worry about their kid, not being able to eat and like trying to find formula. So I was like, wow, the breastfeeding moms are pretty, I mean, good for you right now, because all the other moms that are having to formula feed right now are stressing. I didn't even realize it was happening until my daughter's friend made a post about the formula because she has a 3-month-old. And I was like, what's going on? I literally just found out about this. Like,
well, I noticed it kind of before it became mainstream, like, because we have kids. So I feel like I'm always at the grocery store. And
yeah,
I started when I would walk past the formula aisle, I started to notice like the shelves were kind of empty. And so I'm thinking, okay, we got all this supply chain shortage crap going on right now. So I was like, damn, like, is there like a tanker of fucking baby formula sitting off the side of the East Coast or something? Like, where's the formula?
They need to stock their shelves.
And then you started to hear that they were having issues with both the supply chain shortage, and then there was a couple of formula factories that had like bacteria or something, so the factories got shut down, and so that there was like a major actual like shortage. And I was just like, I've never, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I've never been so happy to the fact that my kids aren't on formula anymore, because I would be stressing. You know how many cans of formula I went through in a month between the two of them? Like probably 15 by the time they were like, when they got to those later stages, like 10, 11 months. Like, I mean, in a month, I could easily go through 15 cans. So I was like, between the two of them,
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's awful.
And it's not like people can, I mean, I don't know if anyone's looked at the price of formula. Unless you're getting WIC and stuff, it's kind of hard to stock up because they're like $30 a can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're the average mama, you don't have $500 to just blow to stock up on formula.
Yeah. Well, like when the C word happened and everybody was stocking on toilet paper and water, and people probably never even thought to stock up on like formula and stuff. But you know what? We also did have a surge of babies born because of that. So like maybe the supply and demand are just kind of like, whoa, what?
When you spend a lot of time inside, got to find some way to occupy yourself.
I mean, there was a lot of babies born since then, but yeah, it's really kind of sad. I mean, it does. I'm like you. I'm grateful. Like, I feel like I'm like, wow, I don't know. Because with the twins, like you said, that much formula. And then mine are past the formula stage and they're in milk and, whatever else. But yeah, I couldn't imagine I think as a mom, well, in general, it doesn't matter how old they are. I was just talking about this the other day. Being able to feed your children is huge. Like as a mom, to be able to know, like, hey, we have food this month. I fed them. I was able to get dinner, like having groceries. I think one of the biggest mom guilts for me, there's probably two at the top, is making sure like I can feed my kids, like I fed my kids, like we have food in the house. I mean, I'm like, yes, that is great. Because when I don't, it's like, man, and to go to the store and to be able to have that food freedom instead of like, no, I'm sorry, we can't get that. Or, you can't have that special treat. Sucks to say that to your kid. So to not be able to give them the formula at a little age would probably break me. Like, or their milk or whatever. Like I would feel awful. Like I can't imagine what these moms are going through.
And then it brings up that whole like, because I think breastfeeding in general is already a big mom guilt for a lot of people. And if you're unable to do it, or like myself, you don't produce enough, and that spirals into, that's what started, I think, really my postpartum depression. The combined between not being able to produce the breast milk and then the lack of sleep, my mind just was not having it. I think my biggest ones were that, and then feeling guilty, especially even lately, like because the boys are approaching their 2-year appointments and the doctors are like, well, they're not really talking too much yet. So then you feel bad, especially with twins, is because you can't give that one-on-one attention like you would when you have a singleton, and every kid learns differently. So it's hard for me sometimes to, like, if I'm one kid wants me to read the book and then the other kid grabs the book and throws it because he likes to throw shit. And so it's like,
yeah,
it makes it hard to kind of have that one-on-one time. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to they're hitting every other milestone, so the doctor's not too worried. Just some early intervention like speech therapy. But I'm actually kind of looking forward to that, to be honest, because I feel like it'll take a little bit of weight off of me, not to stress so much on trying to. This will be a professional that knows how to get them to start talking and saying words. And it takes a little bit of the weight off of me. So I'm actually, but there's that guilt about it. Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not spending enough time with them? Should I spend more time with them? But then if they're supposed to have their independent playtime also. So then it's like, you're trying to find this juggle between, am I not spending enough time, or am I spending too much time? Are they not getting enough of their own time? It's just like, you don't realize until you become a mom how much extra crap is behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like being a twin mom or having more than one child, it's like, I think with twins, it's extra hard though, because I'm like, okay, I remember when they were younger thinking like, did I hold this one more than I held this one? Did I don't know. Liam was always on the boob. So like that dude was just always like here. And that hasn't changed. But like, I mean, he's not on my boob anymore, but like, but like he's always like next to me. Like we were sitting on the couch and Kira was on the one, my second oldest child is on the one side. And then he was sitting across the room, but he noticed we were on the whole other couch and he's like, hey guys, like, and he comes and he sits he's always like right there. But like, I remember thinking like, I think I held him longer than I held her, or, maybe I didn't hold her enough, but like he was always wanting to be there. So my daughter would always hold her a lot. So I'm like, she got held, but maybe not by me. And so I always like had that. And even so now I'm like, am I spending time with more than one than the other? And it's like that even with all the kids. And it's the worst freaking feeling. Mom guilt sucks. It just freaking sucks.
Yeah. Am I closer to one than the other? That's because Benny's more the mama's boy, wise James is a lot more independent. He'll keep himself entertained for hours. Whereas Benny has to be attached to my hip at all times. And
that's Liam.
That's why I I feel that guilt sometimes. Like, am I closer to Benny than I am to James? Like,
Yeah.
does James feel left out when he always sees me holding Benny? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just at that age, they're probably not even registering it, to be honest. But it's
No, it's
like,
just
you
us.
still think, yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I hear the other ones say that stuff though. Like, hey mom, which one's your favorite? You know? And I'm like, dude, I don't have a favorite. I'm like, I love you guys all the same. Like it's just really hard. And I do feel when I look back now, there's just so much you do different. Like, and when you have more, like you guys are going to have another one, right? Probably one or
Possibly.
two.
Not anytime soon. We're talking years down the road, but
I feel like looking back now, it's stuck to my elbow.
There's an annoying, stupid part of me that still really wants a girl. So
yeah. And I think like because you had twins first. I don't know. Cause like I think back as a mom, they were all born at different times in my life, like with Sierra, I was young and I have a lot of mom guilt with her, a lot of mom guilt. And I think that's why sometimes I did try to like make up for it. And for me, I'm the mom and the dad. So there's extra guilt there because it's like, I'm trying to do both roles and fill and be all the everything, for all of them. And there's only one of me. I don't think I like when I think of each kid, I do have certain regret, like mom guilts. I don't want to say regrets, but like mom guilts that play like that are just heavier than others. But yeah, especially with the twins, that was always a struggle. Even now, I think that there's when I think about it, because she's more independent like yours and she doesn't really ask for it. But then there's times where I think like I should just probably do it, just because she's not asking for it. You know what I mean? Like he will ask to be carried. She doesn't usually, but yesterday she did. But they're like 45 pounds and I used to carry them both on my hip all the time, but I'm like, hold on a second, that's like 90 pounds. I can't even lift my own weight. So
yeah, it gets a little harder as they get older.
It is. It really is. And even as the older kids, because I think, well, my oldest kids, they joke around about it, but I know they're serious. When you hug the twins more than you hug us, or you kiss the twins, and these are my oldest ones, okay? We're talking 24 and 19 that say this. You don't hug and kiss us as much as you do the twins, and you always tell the twins this, and you always, well, see, they always joke like once they get after a certain age, that's when I stop liking them. And I only like them when they're babies. Like, I'm like, whatever, you guys are ridiculous. Like, I'm like, do you understand how hard it is to like keep all you guys happy and try to love all of you guys the same amount all day long? Shoot, I'm still trying to work on myself, like
That's another thing too with a big mom guilt thing is if we do anything for ourselves, if we take a trip without them, or if we
we go to the bathroom without them. What you talking about, a trip?
I started to realize this when I go to the store and I'm sitting there for 10 minutes contemplating if I want to get myself a $20 sweater. Why is I will spend $100 on clothes for them without a blink, like, whatever. They need clothes. But like one thing for myself, I'm sitting there like, do I need it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Marcus will always yell at me, like, I'll come home from the store and he'll be like, okay, so what did you get for you? Like, I got something for him. I got something for the kids. He's like, well, what did you get for you? And I'm like, I got my favorite chips.
Yeah. 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 Or I'll return it. I'll buy it. Like, yeah, you deserve this, girl. And then I'll take it back to the store. I used to really be really bad about that. Then I got better. As my bank account went up, I was like, yeah, that's all right. But then it's like, there's those times where it's like, well, I probably could have paid for something else or did something else with this, or, I don't know. Now I kind of base it on like, when it comes to that as like a need or want. But when it really comes to doing something for me, as maybe not materialistically, because I don't care about that stuff as much as I used to, but self-care, like something that is going to help me be a better me. Like today, I was supposed to get my massage and I set aside that money 2 weeks ago. I was really looking forward to that massage. And she canceled. I don't feel bad about that anymore. Like, or my nails or a pedicure or something. I don't feel bad about that stuff. But as far as buying, because heck, I'm like, do you really need another t-shirt? How many do you really need another graphic tee, girl? No, you really don't. But sometimes I do it anyway. But it is a whole thing that I have in my head of, but it was the kids, like you said, that's a whole different story. And I don't know why we're like that, like why the
Well,
mom guilt
it's
is
the mom
heavy.
guilt. A lot of it, I think, stems from a societal thing. Like people are, I hate this phrase, but mom shamed. If you,
I gotta take a
um,
water. I don't want to use my big jug. So
like if you do anything for yourself, or a mom that goes to a club and she's wearing kind of a skimpy outfit, or you see her. The big one I think is like someone, if she gets like a child support payment and you see her go get her nails done with it, and people
oh
always
my
got an
gosh.
opinion about that. But my thing
Yeah.
is, how much how much of her own money went into these kids before she got that payment?
Oh,
Like, and
I was
but
thinking of a scenario
I mean,
because I get child support.
um,
Ugh, that's so
I think
funny.
child support in itself could be its own conversation, because there's people who don't get nearly what they should get, and then there's people who abuse the system. But
Oh,
it's the
honey,
same
yes.
thing with welfare. It's the same thing with all that stuff. You have the people who genuinely need it and use it for the right reasons, and then you have the people who just want to live off someone else's funding.
My,
So I mean,
so I have to share this. So when you brought that up, my my friend's getting child support. This is new, okay, and it goes on a card, which I didn't. I've never. I don't think I've ever had. Well, maybe like 20 years ago, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, I didn't know they were still doing that. I thought it just automatically went into your account. Um, so she's like, "Can they tell where I spend the money at?" I was like, "Why? What you trying to do with it? Like, I'm trying to buy on it. Like, we were just kind of joking. I'm like, why are you so scared? Like, well, I don't know. Can they tell us? They don't look at all that stuff. Like, I don't think. I don't know. I'm like, but that'd be kind of weird. Like, why would they monitor that? But it was kind of funny. So bring it up. Well, if I get my nails done or something like that, and I'm like, listen, here's how I feel about that. Like you work, okay? She works. So she has her money. All right. So say she goes and out of her paycheck, because she doesn't specifically just buy for the kid out of just that one card, right? But when she gets paid and she uses her debit card and gets the kid some shoes or whatever. To me, that's the same thing. Like if she wants to use that child support card for her nails or whatever, get her hair done. How do they know what went to the kid? You know what I'm saying? Like I paid for the kid stuff out of that. Okay, yeah. Should she just use only kid stuff for the child support? But that's also for child support also includes their food, they're part of utilities, their housing in a sense. Like the way it's broke down and what child support is actually allocated for, people think, well, that's for their clothes or shoes. No, it's not just their clothes or shoes. There's a heck of a lot more to taking care of a kid than putting on some nice clothes and some nice shoes. And I think somebody may have told me this before. Might have been an attorney. Child support also too is for the mother because she's the one doing all the work. Or the residential parent, mother, father, sorry, whoever, if you're a single dad too watching this, like, I'm not trying to count you out, but like being a parent is freaking hard. Okay. Single parenting is rough. Or even if you're not a single parent, but you got a significant other that
is always working or doesn't kind
Let
of
me
do
watch
his
my
fair
words.
share.
That isn't, yeah. I was gonna say some bad words, but like, you know, that's all that weight still falls on the person who is doing it all. Okay. So it's kind of like, I'm not getting paid to be a parent, but it kind of is like, hey, you know what? You're the one who's going through all that long nights and the hard days and driving to and from appointments. And that's the gas to get the kid to and from the appointment. So you want to be mad because what? I used it to put gas in my car. Well, how do you want me to go to work? How do you want me to take her to her appointments, or him or her or whatever? It doesn't matter. You know, the point is that it's a system, and it's figure it out to where it's 50-50. You know, that's just what it is. So,
And like any system, there's going to be flaws. Like I remember one day working at Walgreens, and some lady in line had a real opinion about it. And bless the guy who was doing it for not saying anything. He just kind of rolled his eyes and walked out, but he had an EBT card. Yeah. And anyone who doesn't know, you can have both the food stamps, which can only be used for like food items.
Yeah.
And then you have some people get EBT cash, which you can use for anything. And it's typically obviously supposed to be geared toward helping you pay a bill or rent or transportation, that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But this guy bought, what did he buy? So he bought like some school supplies and then a 12-pack of like Modelo. And when he slid the little EBT card, the lady was like, oh, you know, and I don't mean to use this phrase, Karen, but you know, a Karen in line. She was just like, yeah, I'm sure that's what that's supposed to be used for. And I'm just like,
I mean, I was surprised it let it go through for something like that.
It won't let it go through for like food stamps and stuff, but the cash, I think it used to block it, but like after a while, I think they were just like, because people would just then because you can go to the ATM and get the cash out. So I think they just kind of gave up.
That's true. I've never tried to do that. Like, gosh, it's probably been.
I would feel too guilty too, because I know that's not what that's supposed to go towards. But I mean, bless the guy. He was also getting like office supplies. So I don't know if it was just like,
hey, he had a rough day.
Yeah, a long week at work, and he was just like, I'm gonna get my shit done and have a beer.
Or he's going to school or whatever.
And that's, it made me think that's kind of what I was going, like, it's not my place. You know, and it's funny, I look back now, I would even 5 years ago, I probably would have judged myself now, because I remember being a cashier and judging the lady who had $600 in food stamps on her card, and she'd be buying chicken nuggets and shit. And I'm like, well, why don't you at least cook your kids a meal? And now I do the same shit.
Yeah. Like, oh, you should at least buy healthy stuff. You know what? I'm just I remember.
Well, you know what? The kids eat the fucking chicken nuggets and they don't eat the spinach.
And so, you know what? Maybe the child, and I'm not, please, somebody don't come at me crazy, but like I used to work at a Center for Autism and Dyslexia. And I remember there was a kid there who only ate chicken nuggets. Like, the child wouldn't eat anything. The mom always used to bring, what are those, kid cuisines? Every day, the same thing. But maybe that's all the kid would eat was the chicken nuggets. So who are we to judge? You know, like,
that is an autism thing, right? Where they keep a routine of the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a comfort thing.
So who are we to judge, you know? And I think a lot of our, like, going back to our topic, because, you know, we do, we could have did whatever that other thing is called that we do. But like, I think a lot of the guilt comes from our expectations as a mom. You know, this is something that we've been working on. I hear this in my counseling, and I hear this in the class I just was taking on Tuesdays, that we should on ourselves a lot. Like, because it's like, well, I know that I should. Well, who told us that we should? Why do we feel like we should do this and we should do that as a mom? Because of other people? You know, like, why does that happen? Why does it have to be that way? Like, we're not in a competition to see who's going to be the best mom or who, you know, we all don't know. These being a mom did not come with a freaking handbook. And honestly, shoot, I've been a mom for 24 years and I'm learning more as being a mom now than I sure enough freaking did back then. No matter how old you are, I don't really care. But even now I'm still messing up. Like, I'm still like, dang, I should know better. I should have done this. I should have did that. Like, girl, you've been a mom for 24 years. So, you know, but it doesn't matter because each child is different. It doesn't matter. And the times are different and the situations are different and my brain is different. And so like, I'm tired of the shoulds. Like, I'm really working on that. Like,
and don't compare yourself. I think that's my biggest problem as a mom. Is because I had there was 3 of my friends where we all got pregnant at the same time, right before the pandemic. And so we all had kids within a few months of each other. Mm-hmm. And I saw some of them. Now, mind you, they all had singletons. I was the only one who got twins. And I saw them taking their kids to the zoo and the park and enjoying stuff and teaching them how to play baseball. And they're doing all this stuff with their kids all the time. And I'm sitting here like, me and my kids are pretty much always in the house, but that's also because, you know, my husband's work schedule and other stuff, you know, and it's, we would try and take them places and they got really car sick or they wouldn't want to do any. So it just kind of like,
when you're by yourself, we have 2 hands, you know,
there's that guilt where it's like, and that's the thing with 2, like, I don't like taking them anywhere by myself because there's 2 to watch. And that freaks me out. You see all this stuff nowadays with kidnapping and stuff. And I don't like to go anywhere with them by myself. At least until they're a little older. But no. I compare myself a lot, to my friends, and I see them posting all these pictures of their kids and doing all this fun stuff with their kids. And I have a friend who has a 9-month-old and she takes her to Disneyland once a month. And I'm like, I hated taking my kids anywhere when they were babies. That was such a pain in the ass. And maybe that's, you know, but then I feel guilty for, especially in the beginning with the postpartum and stuff, not feeling like I was enjoying it like everyone else was enjoying it. And then I was like, well, maybe this was a sign that I wasn't supposed to be a mom. I remember when the postpartum was really bad, I used to think maybe my miscarriages were a sign I wasn't supposed to be a mom. Like, maybe that was God trying to tell me something. But, you know, don't compare your journey, because your journey is different than their journey. And especially if you have multiples, people with a singleton, it's way different. And it's a whole different adventure trying to get both twins ready and out the door, and then one gets car sick on the way there, and it's like, your journey isn't their journey. And I think that's a big part of the mom guilt is we compare ourselves to other moms. And with social media, like we've talked in previous episodes, social media being this highlight reel, it works the same way with teenagers that it does with moms. We see this mom who's posting all these pictures about how great her life with her kid is, and you're feeling like shit because you haven't posted anything. But that might just be 2 seconds that they got a bunch of pictures and the rest of the day was crap. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So
or yelling at their kids too, smile for that camera. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, just this morning was with the twins, you know, because they're home on Fridays and it's a whole different ball game. Making sure they have shoes. I remember, what did we just do? I just took all the kids by myself. My sidekick, second oldest, decided she didn't want to go do what we were going to do. And I was like, man, you're going to leave me with all these kids? Okay. And that's exactly what I said. And so I was like, all right. And we start driving and I'm like, oh, shoot, he didn't have no shoes on his feet. Like, it's just simple. It's just things like that. Like, literally it's like that. Or it's either you pack the whole house or you don't pack enough. That's just what it is. I literally grabbed snacks, stuff to keep, you know, juice boxes and goldfish and whatever. And then we start, and I'm like, oh man, luckily I had a pair in the car. So I was like, all right, bet. But I forgot the shoes. Oh my, I forgot the shoes. Yeah, there's always something. There literally is always, but you know, I had some severe mom guilt Monday when I was sick. Um, I have a history of chronic migraines, and I was having some vision issues and nausea and was going to hurl everywhere. And I just was not my best at all. And I didn't send my kids to school. I kept them home because there was no way I was going to put my kids in the car with me feeling like that. I couldn't really see. It was just awful. And I could not get them ready. So people can mom shame me all they want. And matter of fact, somebody did at the school. And well, where were they when I dropped them off Tuesday? Well, where were they at yesterday? And I said, you know, I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to be allowed or made to feel like crap for what happened. I had no control over that. That's something I did. It's not like, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this to myself anymore because my kids are fed. My kids are clean. Our home is clean. They're safe. And honestly, that's all you should have been worried about, ma'am, instead of all up in my business, because this isn't the first time it's happened. And this Karen right here is going to be writing a letter pretty soon because, yeah, it's time. And it's not the first comment. And I'm like, you know, I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm working on that mom guilt more and more because I've allowed people to do that to me, you know. Go ask Kiki. You know, I'm like, they're clean, they're fed, they have clean clothes. They're pretty well taken care of actually. And I'm doing the best that I can. So, and that's my note for all of you moms. Like, you're doing the best that you can and
that's
give
all
yourself
you can ask
grace.
for.
And that's what I'm working on every day too, is that grace. And the comparison thing is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
And we're allowing that to steal our joy with our kids. And I'm guilty too. So I'm not like doing this. I'm not doing that. But it really truly is. And I'm working on it. We just have to, because being a mother is it's amazing. And we allow that freaking crap to get in the way of this joy that we have. I don't care if you take them to this, I was going to say Cedar Point. We have Cedar Point here. Disney.
Yeah.
Every freaking day, you know?
Well, I think that is a good point to end on. Let us know what you guys think about that. If you experience mom guilt yourself, if you've had to check somebody in the student line like Karen over there, or some things that you might feel mom guilty about. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description. We have a sale going on at the merch store. I finally did it. I always forget. 20% off, orders $20 and up. So make sure you check that out. We got some new merch up on there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching and supporting us always. We appreciate you so much. Mwah. Bye, guys.